I'm Nicole, and today I will be reviewing Shannon Hale's The Goose Girl. She was born Anidori-Kiladra, Taliana, Italy, Crown Princess of Kildare, and she did not open her eyes for 3 days. Now, I first read this book when I was in the 6th grade. My grandmother picked it out for me, and I'd never heard of Shannon Hale, and I've never had read the original Grimm fairy tale, The Goose Girl, so I was super excited to start reading it. And let me tell you, since that day, I have been reading it over and over again because I adore it. The book is centered around Princess Anidori-Kiladra, Taliana, Italy, or Annie, or Izzy, or the Goose Girl. She goes by a lot of names in this book. But the writing is so descriptive and the imagery is so detailed that when you're reading it, you kind of forget where you are. I became so lost in the fairy tale world that Shannon Hale had created that I would read for hours upon hours before realizing that, hey, it was time for me to go to bed. From start to finish, this story is excellent, and I recommend it to anyone who loves just nice, clean fairy tales that make you feel good at the end. And I found the story very refreshing because although it was a fairy tale, Annie had to earn her happy ending. She wasn't just given a prince and didn't just become a princess all because she was born to it. She had to do a lot of work, and it was very refreshing to see that. The book features an array of immersing characters that I honestly fell in love with. Even the ones with bad intentions I fell in love with because of the way they were written. I loved to hate them. But what I especially loved in this tale was the way Shannon Hale described the magic in it. It was a natural kind of magic, one that didn't seem as ridiculous as waving a wand and something happened. It was explained thoroughly. It was described to the point where it actually felt real, like we could do these incredible things, like listen to the whispers of the wind and hear it with the things that it has touched, or speak to a horse through our minds. It was the kind of thing that, when you say it out loud, it sounds a little silly, but when you read it, it's truer than true, as true as the bones in your body or the blood in your veins. And that was what I found the most appealing about this tale. There was magic, but a magic you could understand, a magic you could wrap your head around, a magic that felt possible, that made you smile just thinking about it. A good kind of magic. But there is one particular thing I've wondered about in the dozens of times that I've reread this book. There's a scene mentioned just as an afterthought about loneliness that Annie is feeling, because she's a very lonely character throughout a lot of this book. And it left a question inside of me that I always wondered, so I'm going to read you the quote. Lying on her bed, she could see the dark intimation of the southernmost palace spire, and on certain nights the dim star of a candle flame that winked in one window. She watched it until she slept. That point of light spoke of someone else awake, someone thoughtful, someone alone. And I've often wondered as I've reread this book, who is in that palace spire, awake when Annie is awake? I feel like they have a wonderful story to be told, and if Shannon Hale, if you ever see this, I'm just wondering, who is the person that's awake in the tower? Because I feel like he must have thought about it, because that whole scene seems very thoughtful to me. Unless, of course, it's just Annie's thoughtfulness and her feelings of loneliness, and she's projecting them. But I feel like there is definitely someone that has a story to be told, and I really want to know what that story is. So that is my review of Shannon Hale's The Goose Girl. From start to finish, it's a delightful read with enchanting imagery that immerses you in the world of the story. It feels so natural and right that I wish I lived in that world. And the characters are amusing and heartfelt and just so relatable. The whole thing was a delight to read, and I'd honestly have to say, it's my favorite story. Whenever somebody asks me my favorite author or my favorite book, without even thinking, I reply, The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. I love Shannon Hale's books. And I haven't read them all yet because I take my time. I'm slow with reading them because they're so good and I never want them to run out. So if you're a fan of the Grimm tales retold in amazing imagery and outstanding detail, then pick yourself up a copy of The Goose Girl because it is fantastic and it is a read that will change you. Well, that has been my review of Shannon Hale's The Goose Girl. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and maybe share this around so that more people will know about the joys of Shannon Hale's writing and the awesome book, The Goose Girl. Bye, Internet!
Hey, I'm Nicole, and today I will the book I was so lost in the fairy tale world that Shannon Hale created that what was I? Looking for a quote that I love and I want to share, but I can't find it. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all my time.